So what the heck is Sinatra, and why should you care? Now, if you are a Windows programmer and you dabble in Rails, you owe it to yourself to find out more about Sinatra. It is built using Ruby, and it is what is known as a DSL, a domain-specific language for building websites. It has been kind of rethought, re-looked at. It is fast, powerful. There's not a massive framework like Rails behind it, yet you can do a ton of things. And what I'm going to do is create a file called app.rb, and that is this file right here. And what we need to do is to tell it, hey, I need you to pull in Ruby gems. And I do that inside of E by hitting REQ tab. And we'll say pull in Ruby gems, please. And next up, we're going to pull in Sinatra. Now, if you're a Microsoft programmer, .NET programmer, require is sort of like import or uses. Okay, we're ready to go. So let's do our very first response here. And we'll type in get, and we'll say you're going to respond to /, which is the root. And then when someone comes into the root of our application, just simply return hello world. And it's saying, where do you want to put this? And we're going to call this app.rb, and we'll keep it inside of the Sinatra directory. Now notice eText editor works with the basic Windows command shell stuff, which is kind of cool. All right, and we hit save. So now we have app.rb saved inside of our project. Now what I need to do is come back over here to my shell, and I have to tell Sinatra to run. And to do that, I use a gem called shotgun, and I'll install this in just a bit, tell you more about it. But I just have to tell it shotgun and use the app.rb file to start. And it's going to do that, and up we go. And it's going to use Webrick, which is the built-in Ruby web server. And it's also told me that it's running on HTTP localhost 9393. Awesome. So let's go over there, HTTP localhost, and we'll take that out, 9393, and guess what we have? Hello world. It works. I don't think that could be all that much easier. We'll be able to read stuff out of the query string, and we sure can. We can put in an argument using :argument name. And this is Ruby syntax, and if you're familiar with Rails, then this is how you set up a route in Rails. If you're familiar with ASP.NET MVC, then our route would look something like that, saying this is an optional parameter. Well, in Sinatra, you just say that. Okay, so instead of saying hello world, what we can do is we can say hello and use a Ruby idiom here called string interpolation, and we ask for params. If you've used Rails, these look familiar. Name. Great. Okay, so if I come back up here and say Tekpub, it's going to say hello Tekpub, which is groovy. While this may be a ton of fun, outputting things on the screen like this, it's not terribly functional, and moreover, I'm being a bit negligent because I'm just outputting things that are passed in through the query string. I'm outputting them straight into HTML, which can get you into some trouble with cross-site scripting. So what I need to do is to encode that output. And so to do that, I should really have a helper. And to have helpers in Sinatra, you simply have to create a helpers block. Helpers do end. There you are here in line. Great. So now if I go back to my page and I want to make sure that it works, I can type in Tekpub. Great. And we can say layout.erb, hit OK. And inside of here, we can put in some HTML. All right, that'll do. Just have a doc type, HTML head, blah, blah, blah. That makes for a good layout. And so now what we got to do is, since we're using ERB, is to simply call yield. And what this is going to do is it's going to render the templates inside of it. So make sure that's saved. It is. And so now if we refresh this, we'll have a properly rendered document with a proper title. And to see that, pull that down, we can view the source. And there it is. So normally at this point, I would jump into a more comprehensive demo and show you some of the advanced features of Sinatra. However, I think it is probably a better idea to detour and to take a look at Rack, which essentially powers Sinatra. Now, understanding Rack is key to understanding Sinatra. So what we have done is peeled off the Sinatra production and included it right in here. So this is an independent production that we've had in place for a while. I suggest you watch it as episode 2 in this series. In episode 3, I'll pick it up and rewrite the MVC Music Store, complete with tests and a whole bunch of fun goodies using RSpec and HAML.